Good morning, everybody out there on Facebook. Brian Wallace here in lovely, historic Portland, which is West Louisville. And we're here live today with Gill HOlland. Those of you who are in Louisville probably know Gill HOlland in all sorts of different ways, and those of you outside the region may not know him. But Gill's an amazing individual. We finally had a chance to catch up. How are you doing this morning, Gill?
Doing good.
So tell us about yourself. I'm tempted to say you're a Renaissance man, but people really probably tune in better when you tell people what your expertise is rather than just saying, hey, I do everything. So could you kind of fill us in a little bit for everybody who doesn't know who you are, and then we'll get into some South by Southwest related strategy.
Yeah, it is funny because the term Renaissance man, I think, used to work before this present era of hyper specialization when everybody had to be really good at one thing.
Totally.
And when I went to law school, my law professor always said, Gill, if you ever concentrate on one thing, you'll be a success. And I've not been able to concentrate on any one thing ever. But I did go to law school, worked briefly in a law firm, fell in love with films, worked for the French film industry, promoting French cinema abroad, worked in New York City, started my own company, film company, sold it in 2002 at the height of the market. Instead of doing anything sensible, started a record label.
I love it.
15 years ago, actually. I think this month, 15 years ago.
Got to make somebody's got to get you a cake.
Yeah, no, I'm working on a 15th anniversary press release of sorts.
Great.
And we just passed 25 million spins on Spotify.
Wow, that's impressive.
For our record label, so that's kind of fun.
Amazing.
So I've worked on over 100 movies and 70 albums, and then I'm worked in the Nulu neighborhood for quite some time, and my wife and I tried to kind of help revitalize that part of town, East Market Street, and then 3 years ago I moved over here to the old Boys and Girls Club building on 26th Street and Portland Avenue. And Portland's got all kinds of great history. It's actually where Louisville was founded. So we're 4 years into a 10-year revitalization effort here in the Portland neighborhood.
That's incredible. And so, yeah, I mean, you are just the man. I mean, you're the mayor of Nulu. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mayor Nulu, I actually just stepped down after 5 years of being president of the Nulu Business Association.
Did you coin the phrase Nulu?
I did coin the phrase Nulu.
That's
so
pretty impressive.
It's my fault.
I like it. I like it.
It needed, it was a part of town that had a distinct identity, but not a brand.
Yes.
And
when
I first moved here 11 years ago, people were, I'd be like, people were like, where are you hanging out? And I'd be like, well, this area of town's kind of southern Butchertown, northern Smoketown, lower Phoenix Hill, east downtown. So I was like, we really need our own brand.
Absolutely. And I'm sure it's paid off incredibly. I mean, it's certainly a landmark attraction area for people to visit, people to work, people to live.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
It's been really
how
fun
well
seeing all those great old buildings come back to life. And there's 14 restaurants now in Nulu. There was one.
Amazing.
I used to have the same sandwich every day at Jenica's, every day, with the broccoli crunch every day.
It's good, but come on.
Where are you, my Jenica's friends?
Right.
So yeah, it's been a big success.
Right. And yeah, so I mean, all the real estate stuff that you do, and a lot of people I think don't realize all of the film stuff you do and all the record label stuff you do, which is exactly why we're here talking about South by Southwest. Usually we're talking about the interactive side, but you bring a depth and wealth of experience on the other end of the festival. You've been going a long time.
So my first South by Southwest was, I think, 19 years ago.
Amazing.
Where we took a film called Desert Blue, which was one of my earliest co-productions, and it was the first film starring the then unknown Kate Hudson.
Nice.
And Casey Affleck.
Wow.
Who had he'd had Good Will Hunting, I think, was his only
role.
And Christina Ricci was in it, and Peter Sarsgaard. Nobody knew who he was.
Incredible.
And, so we had a great screening at the Paramount, and it's going to be fun because we're hosting a big Kentucky Film Commission Louisville film party across the street from the Paramount this year.
Excellent.
So maybe we'll see some of you all.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, we'll post show links.
And this year we have a film called Most Beautiful Island, which is about kind of a harrowing day in the life of an immigrant woman in New York who finds herself in a precarious, kind of psychologically thrilling situation.
That's outstanding.
So that's world premiere of Ana Asencia's film, so that's going to be exciting. And then Jack Harlow, who's a young rapper on our label, he's going to be down there. and he has a song in a film called Transfiguration,
Okay.
Larry Fessenden production.
Nice.
And then also James Lindsay, who's our hip-hop star, who used to go by Jalen Rose. A lot of people know him as Jalen Rose.
Oh, sure.
James Lindsay will be down there as well. So we
That's
have
outstanding.
two musical artists and this movie we're premiering. So it's going to be exciting South by Southwest.
Absolutely. So for everybody who's sort of new to South by Southwest, there's 3 tracks. There's interactive, which you usually hear me go on about, taking a little different route this time because Gill is just kind of the master of the film side and the music side, which is probably a bit of a rarity out there. And what's interesting is, so film and interactive usually go the first week, and then music goes the second week. But this year you're actually going the first week, right?
Right. So, one year I went. I mean, I can't stay for 10 days, right? So the film...
Your
film
brain falls out,
part
for sure.
starts on Thursday or Friday, and then interactive usually starts around Monday, and then music starts Wednesday or Thursday.
Right.
And so one year I actually went to the film, came home to Louisville, and then went back for music, and I was like,
wow,
I can't do that.
That's horrifying.
And then I was like, I've got 3 little kids, so I'm not staying away for 10 days.
Right.
But the last couple of years I've done more music. 3 years ago, we had a documentary called Maiden Trip, which actually won an audience award.
Amazing.
And then last year we had the Wendell Berry documentary, which won a special jury prize.
Yeah, that was sweet.
So I would come the last screening during film, and then get to see some of the interactive booths and whatnot, and then be there for music. But this year I'm only doing film, so
Okay.
Friday and Monday. So I'll be spending, swing by the Driscoll Hotel is always a good spot to see important muckety mucks. The Four Seasons Bar is a good spot to do a little connecting.
Absolutely.
The Intercontinental is kind of a place where South by Southwest has turned into a de facto kind of filmmaker hub. So that's the 3 kind of secrets,
Right.
if you will, for when you're wandering around with downtime, where to go to maybe, if you get tired of walking through the convention center.
I love that. I love uncovering some of the hidden pieces. I mean, one of the things that I always like to recommend are certain lounges where people don't realize the main currency you have there is focus amid the distraction. So if you have a place that you can focus and bring other people to focus with you, that's an incredible card to hold. So I love, for instance, the Comcast Blogger Lounge, which is actually celebrating its 10th year. And check this out. So it has coffee, it has food, it has speakers, there's places to sit with power and wired internet. And I'm sure you know, sometimes the internet's terrible, cell phone reception spotty, so all of those things together is such a strategic advantage.
Yeah, I
And
always
all
tell
the
people,
places you're saying is great.
Try to text more than send emails because
Get everybody's cell phone
It's
number.
like Derby.
It's just
easier
ridiculous.
to
It's ridiculous.
get communication quickly.
Absolutely.
By text.
Those are good places to go, definitely.
And then you got to go to
Comics.
the barbecue joint there,
Ironworks.
Ironworks, right behind the.
Yep.
That's like one of the places you got to go. You got to go to the Continental.
Right.
Swing by the San Jose. There's just certain things you got to check off.
Absolutely. And then, I mean, on interactive side, I'd say, Media Temple for the last decade or something has a nice closing party. They always have some old school rap for everybody who's like Gen X and like they just know like, hey, you're a marketer that's like between 30 and 35 years old or whatever. So those are kind of neat. And what do you think of they've been adding hotels like crazy now. They have a nice JW Marriott that's right over there. I don't know if you had a chance to check that out.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a crazy construction boom.
Yeah.
I mean, the double-edged sword of Austin, I think South by Southwest is responsible for a lot of Austin's success in the last 20 years.
And it's also built the interactive industry.
Well, yeah, and so many people, an excuse to go to Texas and get out of a New York, winter in early March. That's just a good excuse. And then people go there and then they discover it and then they stay. So South by Southwest has been very instrumental. That being said, they have not, I think, protected some of their great old buildings. And like Las Meninas was the best taco joint in the country. And, now there's some like ugly high-rise on that property. So that's kind of a bummer because that was like the apocryphal joint that we would go to every morning in the old days. But, in the old days, 15 years ago, there was not so many people, and Interactive, I think, only started 12 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
So that's kind of blown it all up.
The sacrifices we have to make in the name of
Foursquare was
progress.
the first thing that really exploded out of, and Twitter, I think,
Twitter,
exploded out of South by
Twitter
Southwest.
became a thing out of South by. Everyone can attribute it to that in 2007.
Yeah.
2009, I think, was the year of Foursquare. Meerkat and live streaming, although Meerkat kind of took a dive, live streaming became a thing out of that. So it's where everybody, it's like the modern day World's Fair.
Yeah.
And I could go fly to 30 different places or go to this, and all of the Valley and all of New York and all of the world basically packs up and goes to it. So, I mean, really, for anybody who wants to make it on the big scene, this is where it's at, and not just for interactive. You're definitely
Well, and the
out.
great thing is, media and interactive and anything on the internet relies on a fluency with moving image, because
Right.
every website has video production, 24 frames a second reality, or fake news, but it's still 24 frames a second. So you have to know how to tell stories using images. And so I think that's where filmmaking and then obviously music is so important in films.
Right.
Can you imagine trying to watch Psycho without the without the sound design, or lots of other great movies
Wouldn't be the same thing
without sound? So for me, it's a good melding of all those kind of intellectual properties coming together.
Right. And that's the coolest thing, because everybody can go to their little industry conferences with 50 people, 100 people, 200, 1,000. This, you can talk to a filmmaker, you can talk to the guy who made Foursquare, you can talk to somebody that does agriculture, and all have a conversation together about ridiculous stuff. And have fun
And
at
also,
the same time.
You never know where inspiration is going to come from.
Absolutely.
So, out of diversity and out of a lot of, creative ions and electrons smashing together, there's interesting, creative collisions that happen that end up starting businesses or seeing the world in a new way. And that's,
Definitely.
the guys who started Google, they saw the world in a new way. And that's what you got to, Henry Ford.
Absolutely.
That's
Keeps
where
everybody
great
sharp.
Entrepreneurial ideas come from.
Outstanding. So, given that you've been going to this show so much longer than me, I think this is my 8th or 9th year, aside from the cool hangouts that you told us, any other things that people should know, whether they're new or even been going a few years?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, too, is you got to be willing to kind of step out of your comfort zone and just put your hand out and say hello and say who you are and introduce yourself to people.
Absolutely.
And, early on, I would always try to figure out what each color badge, because you can kind of then start telling, okay, what person, what are they there for, music, film, interactive, and then are they sponsor, which would be, potential investor, or
Right.
are they maybe sponsoring a party, or are they a filmmaker, director has a different badge, so like
Right.
really working on your keen eyesight to try to figure out what people's status is there.
Definitely.
So that you can kind of more quickly break the ice and make introductions.
I've developed a lot of tricks on that over the years that we could chat about later. I don't want to keep you from your next meeting, but yeah, I definitely agree with that. And so you have to be careful though, right? Because sometimes people will look at your name or something and kind of rule you out because they're looking for the famous person. I kind of hate that because everybody's relevant and everybody's
one or two steps away from
Exactly.
whoever you really do want to meet.
Exactly.
And I always assume I'm never really going to meet a famous person anyway, because
Right.
there's too many other people who want to meet that person. So,
So
let's
true.
meet the person who's going to be famous next year. So
I love that.
That's why I go to Southwest.
And it sounds like it's paid off very well for you if you've been going for
Yeah,
this
it's
long.
great. It's a great place to scout talent, meet people, and build your kind of international and national network. A lot of people coming from all over the country to this one place, and then they all go back, and then you know them all, and then when you meet the network, you have it.
Love it, man. So, any final thoughts for the crowd?
I'll see you there. Check out Most Beautiful Island, Jack Harlow, and James Lindsay.
Okay, great. And any questions out there from the audience? I see a few of you guys have joined. Let us know. And also, you'll notice we've got lots of toys on the desk. Gill and I are easily distracted, so we could go off on tangents all day long. But we've got dinosaurs and rubber ducks, which...
Pteranodon.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. Not sure which one that is.
I don't know who that is. Is that an Allosaur?
I've got 3 little kids, so I'm actually getting back to knowing which dinosaurs are
Right.
which.
And my kids are into dinosaurs, too. I love Dinosaur World. You've been there, I'm sure.
I have not actually.
You've never been to
No,
Dinosaur
I
World?
know.
Man, you got to bring... It's not that far from
No,
here.
I know. We're going to Mammoth Cave this weekend, so maybe we'll.
You got to go. It's right down the street, pretty much. Down the street, being a relative term, but it's worth it. And they have like the little QR codes that you can scan and see like a little video about each dinosaur. And all the kids can climb up on dinosaurs, which is reason enough.
You know, when they were building the Portland Canal in 1830,
Yeah.
and in 1828, young Abraham Lincoln, when his first paying job was digging the Portland Canal.
I did not know
right
that.
Over here, 2 blocks down.
Amazing.
They found a full skeleton of a woolly mammoth
Amazing.
And they unearthed it and they put it somewhere, and during the Great Flood, it disappeared.
That sucks.
They lost an entire woolly mammoth skeleton.
That's such a downer.
So you can imagine what this area was like
Right.
back in the day.
That's incredible, man. Well, listen, Gil, been a pleasure. If
All right.
nobody has questions? All right.
Thanks.
Well, I'm sure we'll get some
We'll
questions
see you
later.
down there.
But outstanding. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Stay tuned, guys.